there wasn't a description of this in the program or anything. Do you guys know what you're doing here, or did you just come on in? Okay, cool. Have you ever found yourself in charge of giving somebody some feedback, especially critical feedback, telling them something they're doing wrong or trying to get them to change behavior, and you had an awkward time giving that information to them, either because you're afraid of hurting their feelings, or they react negatively, or whatever's going on? Who's had that problem before? Okay, cool, yeah. This session started as a teacher in service, because as a teacher, what do you got to do all the time? You got to modify people's behaviors and improve their skills. And as a section leader or a drum major or whoever you are, you have those same responsibilities an awful lot of the time. So I'm going to give you some tools, and we're going to practice using them in here today. But first, I want you to just think about a normal rehearsal. Just like a regular day for you and your band. You can even, if you're a visual person, you want to close your eyes and just picture what's going on at the field, or maybe inside if you're thinking of a music rehearsal. Who's there? Maybe 5 minutes before downbeat, what's going on? Are people already on their dot, ready to rock and roll? Or are they wandering in? Are they still in the parking lot? Are their instruments together? Are they frazzled? Is your director up there all ready to go? Or is he or she still like running in and trying to figure out what's going on? Just picture what that looks like for a second. And as you're picturing that, I want you to go ahead and focus on the personalities in the room. See if you can even get in the heads of the people that are there. There's probably somebody who's thinking about their boyfriend or girlfriend, and there's probably somebody who's thinking about their classes, and there's probably somebody thinking about whatever tragedy happened to them or their family this week. There's probably somebody thinking about their favorite TV show. There's probably there's all kinds of things going on. But just imagine the people that are there and what they're thinking about. And then I want you to come around to that one person. And that one person I'm talking about is that jerk, that band cancer, that person you wish you could amputate. You know what I'm talking about? That person that you can't deal with. And they don't have, they're there for the wrong reasons in your opinion. And don't try to tell me your band doesn't have any of these people. I know they're there. Should I not have said band cancer? Was that too much? I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, that was quick. This person may have a lot of social power, meaning they may have a lot of social gravity. People might care what they think about. This person may have a fancy leadership title. This person may be a staff member. Whoever that is, and I'm not going to ask you who it is, but just think about what's going on for them, and I want you to consider something for a second. Is that person a jerk? Or are they your jerk? And if they are your jerk, are you their jerk? Probably if you think someone's a jerk, there's a decent chance that they think you're a jerk. And now your opinion, while it feels awfully comforting, is not necessarily right. It's just yours. And your opinion feels right all the time. Have you ever noticed that all the people who agree with you seem really smart? Have you ever noticed that all your friends tend to agree with you? And the people who used to agree with you probably used to be your friends? So I'm gonna challenge your perspective a little bit. But that one student, I want you to consider something. It's not that they're a jerk or that you're a jerk. It's that they don't have the right tool to deal with you, and you don't have the right tool to deal with them. If you're taking notes, I want you to write that down, because that's really important. There's nothing about your opinion that's correct over somebody else's. There's no empirical facts there. There's just what you think. And while you may be right, maybe they are actually a jerk, and you're 100% right in all your interactions, and they're just mean. That's possible. But it's not helpful either. Looking at it that way doesn't stop them from being a jerk. I'm going to give you some ways to stop them from being a jerk. First of all, what's the golden rule? Who's got the golden rule? You got to know this, right? What do you got?
Treat others the way you want to be treated.
Treat others the way you want to be treated. Absolutely. That's a very good assumption. That'll get you really far. That's a good thing, and I hope you were taught that when you were a kid. That's awesome. And the reason it works is because everybody loves to be loved, needs to be needed, and respects being respected. Everybody likes that reflection. And a lot of times, respect and love and admiration, those things look similar to a lot of people. I know how to treat people. I can be nice to you. I can smile and make eye contact and give you a good handshake and pay attention and listen to your words. And that generally will work. However, Cool story. The way I met my wife Amy, she's awesome. I love her so much. And she challenged me in so many ways. This was a few years ago. It would have been in 2010. I met her. I was at a leadership retreat for adults. It was for people ages 19 to 28. It's a week-long, basically like a leadership camp, but for adults. A really cool thing. And I used to administrate this thing and speak at it. I still speak at it. But the tradition there is that when the participants roll up in their car, the staff is all in matching t-shirts, and we all like run out and mob their car and open the door and offer hugs and grab their bags and usher them upstairs. And it's really overwhelming for a lot of people. In fact, for a lot of people, it's a little bit uncomfortable. Are you with me on that? Some of you are going already like, ooh, I don't want to just, okay. So I was on, my wife, my now wife, I didn't know her yet, she and her friend Bob rolled up in the same car, and I was on Bob's side of the car, and I just opened the door and I said, hey, what's your name? Bob, I'm Tyson. Can I give you a hug? Do you like hugs? And Bob was like, yeah, sure. And we had a nice good man hug, and I love me a good man hug. By the way, I'm doing free hugs. Anybody who wants one anytime, I'm all over. But Bob and I had a nice hug, and then he goes, hey, and she loves hugs. Don't even ask. Just go in for it. Yeah, I know now, okay? So I go around the car, and I just go up like this, and my wife, she literally turns and runs the other direction. That's the first thing my wife ever did was run away from me. Because she didn't want a hug. The golden rule failed me in that moment. Because I wanted a hug. I want hugs from anybody. I really do. Even if you're all sweaty, I want a hug. And we do want a hug from a stranger. Now, by the end of the week, I got a hug, and then a year later, she asked me out. I got to brag about that. She asked me out. Okay, cool. But the golden rule failed me. Has anybody ever heard of the platinum rule? This one is much less known. Treat others how they want to be treated. That handles that difference in personality. It's harder. Because you've got, I mean, anytime I'm trying to get into your brain, I'm always taking a guess. I'm taking my best guess at what you want. And it takes a lot of observation. And if I had, paid attention to her, by the end of the week, I knew a little bit more about her, and I was able to follow that platinum rule a little bit better. But when you are leading other people, you can't just walk around assuming they want, like, need the same things that you do. Because sometimes it'll work, and sometimes it won't. Now, excuse me. Going kind of along the golden rule, I've always found this stereotype to be very useful. Most people respond positively to positivity. Now, do I have anybody from New York City by chance? Not New York State, New York City. Does this make you feel weird?
Well, does it feel weird? Yes.
Okay. If I'm being overly positive to you, New Yorkers tell me that they think I'm trying to sell them something or whatever. Yeah, I want something from you. Right. Okay. Now, I don't. I just want to be nice. But sometimes New York, so this is, I guess, a cultural thing there, and I've only ever gotten that from New York City, not New York State. So this is a cultural thing there. But this will get you far. If you can inject positivity into somebody's life, if you can make them laugh, if you can make them smile, there's a chemical that gets released in your brain. It's called serotonin. It makes them like you more whether they want to or not. If I can make you laugh or smile, boop, little serotonin, a little bit of drug for you, makes you feel good, and you like me more. Some of you just smiled at that. I got you again. Now some of you are going, I don't want to smile. Okay? But that is something that you can absolutely start a relationship, grow a relationship with somebody, and with leadership, what are we doing about relationships? Right? We're building a relationship. So, by the way, anybody want to take issue with this? Because the rest of the session is based on that as an assumption. And do we need to have any discussion around this topic? Because the rest of it's all going to be an assumption or based on that. I just want to check in real quick. I welcome feedback. I welcome you pushing on this if there is any need to. Okay? Okay, cool. Speak up if there ever is a problem. All right, so if that's true, then why aren't we respectful, kind, appreciative, nice, gracious, why aren't we all those things by default? Because I don't think we are. Do you walk around being super nice to everybody all the time? Some of you just nodding. I don't. I wish I did. Well, what are the things that stop you? When you ever been rude to somebody or cut them off or disrespected their opinion and thought later, man, why did I do that? What stops you from being super nice to somebody? Help me out here. Yeah.
Maybe if you don't value their opinion.
Okay, if you don't value their opinion, and they know that you don't value their opinion in that situation, right?
It takes like a lot of effort, and sometimes you're not really focused on pleasing other people.
Yeah, it's harder, especially if you're going platinum rule. It's more difficult. It takes work. It takes thought. What else? Yeah.
It's like maybe a preconceived notion or judgment about that person that you just don't.
Ooh, you already have a preconceived notion or judgment about that person. Boy, don't we do that. Like, especially, even this conference, you probably got into that opening session. You sit down and look around the room with people you don't know and go, not hanging out with that guy. Sit there and just like make up stories about people. So those preconceived notions, that's a big one. Thank you for saying that one, by the way. What else?
I think a lot of personal issues get in the way of these things.
Tell me about personal issues. What's that?
I mean, things that are going on in your own life can distract you from these kinds of things. And everybody is, I think, kind of, for the most part, self-involved. And so we get wrapped up in our own stuff that we don't realize that we're taking it out on other people, or it just gets in the way.
Yeah. Yeah, your own personal stuff. You know, as much as I love the people that I meet, as wonderful of a time as I'm having here, as much as I love my wife, there's nobody in this world, when you get right down to it, that is important to me as I am. I have to take care of, I'm the one who has to make sure that I get through my day, right? If you're having a bad day, you know, you got a bad grade on something, or you just had a nasty breakup, or you just got some bad news, you're not walking around with a sign on you that says, please be nice to me, my dog just died. And people don't know your story, right? So it's hard sometimes. So I get this one a lot. I hear this all the time. Why aren't you nice people? They got to earn my respect first. By the way, I mentioned this is for teachers. This, I get on teachers all the time about this. They say the students need to earn my respect. Oops. Leaders got to go first. Because if you're going second, you're not the one being the leader. You're being a follower if you're going second. If you're going to go first, if you're going to be a leader, and I hope you are, then you've got to go first. That's what a leader is. It's the one who does something first. So, if this is you, if you're thinking the people in your chapter, the people in your section, the people in your band, they need to earn your respect, I offer you this as an alternative. Give them all the respect right up front, 100%. And then if they do something to earn your detraction of respect, you can subtract some respect along the line. If you treat somebody super nice and they're just consistently a jerk to you, I don't want you to get walked all over. It's not about that. I just want you to start at 100% because then you are setting the example of being respectful. And example leadership is the most powerful kind. Remember this thing I did earlier today? Those of you who were in the room, you all put your hand right, almost everybody put your hand right there. Well, you just did what I did. So I want you to do something to get them to do it. Now, here's some more things I believe. First of all, I think we should all be aggressively nice. Aggressive is too strong a word. I think we should be proactively nice. I think you should walk around trying to insert a little bit of positivity into people's day. I think that's a good vision for you to have, especially in your band program when you're asking people to do work for you, when you're asking people to serve the group. I want you to walk around and trying to insert that little bit of positivity. Next, I know that all humans are judgmental, including you. You make judgments all the time, all day long. It's not bad, it's not good, it just is. And if you're not with me on that, like think about this. When you walked in this room, let's say I was standing down here when you walked in the room, and I'm holding a bloody axe standing over a dead body. You're going to make a different judgment about the situation in this room than you did when you walked in. Or if I'm standing on my head, or if I'm doing something weird, you're going to have a moment of judgment. If there was a bear coming at you, if there's a bear that walks in that door, when you come in that door, what are you going to do? You're going to leave. You're going to make a different decision about the situation, right? So you are judgmental too, and that's okay. And if you are super nice, you're going to get judged for it. I get told all the time that I'm too nice. And people from New York City want me to figure out what it is that's behind it. They're all suspicious about it. And I think you should just deal with that. I think you should just just know that people are going to judge you sometimes. And if you think that judgment has some power over you, I disagree. I think you can let it have power over you. You know, you can let other people's opinion have power over you, but it doesn't have it by default. Where's their opinion? Point to it. It's not really there. It's in your head. It's in your mind, right? All right. Now, when you are super nice to people, it's not to make them feel good. They will, and that's a good thing. But this is about modifying their behavior. Now, I talked about this a little earlier today. Hands up, who wasn't here this morning? Was anybody not? Oh, okay, got a line. Okay, cool. So, I'll do this quickly. If what you want to do is improve somebody's skill or change somebody's behavior, there is a proper ratio or a range of ratios for positive information to negative information, telling somebody what they're doing right versus what they're doing wrong. The research says at least 4 times as much positive information has to come their way as negative information. I read one in a business setting that said business teams that functioned really well had a ratio of 5.6 to 1. Meaning, I'm giving you positive confirmation you did something good 5.6 times more than I'm telling you I want you to change something, giving you that negative feedback. There's a study that I quote all the time. They had 3 groups of people learning to shoot free throws. Basketball free throws. They had group A got they shot their free throws, and then a basketball coach told them everything they did right. Everything they did right. Just that's it. There's no more information than that. And then group B got everything they did wrong. All the information they got was what to change about their technique. And group C got a 50-50 split. Of those 3 groups, which one do you think improved the most? If you were here this morning, don't say. You saying group C, which one was that? Did I say 50-50?
Yep.
It wasn't C. It was the one that got all the positive information. The ones that didn't hear anything about what to change improved more than the ones that got a 50-50 split. And it's because people want a feeling of success. When you tell them good job, when you confirm that what they're doing is right, they will do it again the next time. We're all looking around for some sort of reward for our behaviors. You came here, the reward you're hoping for is good information. If I come here and waste your time, you're never going to come to one of my sessions again, right? So the only reason you ever do anything is for some form of reward. Your people in your band are the exact same way. They need some kind of reward. So yes, it'll make people feel good, but that's not what this is about. Okay, we get down to our first actual technique. You at some point are going to be called upon to give feedback to somebody, and here's how a great way to deliver positive information. First of all, what do you do if you get a compliment from somebody and it comes out of left field? You're not quite ready for it. What are some things what are a way that you respond sometimes when you get a compliment? Yeah, somebody gives you a compliment. What do you do or say? You say thank you. Okay. What else? Yeah.
Give them back.
Give one. Oh yeah, you gotta immediately come up with a compliment because you don't want to owe them something, right? I want to give them one immediately. Okay, that's a common one. There's one more that I'm definitely looking for. What do you think?
Sometimes you just blow it off and kind of like disregard what they said.
Yeah. Oh no, that's not me. I didn't. Oh, this whole thing I just threw it on, right? Because we've been taught in our culture not to be arrogant, not to be egotistical. And there's a difference between that and what I'm talking about here. But here's how you can get somebody to take a compliment and not deflect it, and not immediately toss a fake compliment back your way. First of all, you got to do what's called opening listening. That's where you get somebody, you let them know, hey, something important's coming up. Like, for example, if I said, what's your name, right?
Bill.
Bill. If I said, hey, Bill, can I talk to you for a second? Now, he knows something's coming that's not average, right? Just some little thing like that, that's all it takes to get them ready to hear something. Versus, what if you were all seated in here and I walked in and I just said, everybody sit down and shut up, I'm going to tell you some stuff. If I started that way. Now, you would perk up. You would be hearing my words, but a lot of you would probably close off and not be ready to hear what I had to say, right? Because I came with a lot of negativity. So, I want you to open their listening, and then, by the way, using people's names, that's a great way to open their listening. If you learn your people's names and use them on a regular basis, it is super effective at getting them to hear what you have to say. And then you just say, I like, I respect, I admire, I appreciate, whatever verb you want to use. And then insert positive thing. By the way, we want you to be as personal and specific as possible, because make no mistake, you are looking for an emotional reaction. Don't want them to, fall to their knees and have a religious experience, but you want them to feel good. That's the point of the compliment, right? And then, by the way, so far right here, this is almost a normal compliment. It's not bulletproof yet. It's not bulletproof until step 4 when you say, because here's what it does to me. Because what are they going to say? No, it doesn't. There's no way to deflect that. An example. By the way, I love this one. I love this compliment because, first of all, it's true, and because second, it works on everybody. First of all, so I say, Susan, can I tell you something? I'm using her name. I'm open to listening. I always appreciate seeing your smile. Because it reminds me to smile too, and that makes me feel better. And she can't, so your smile is personal, it's a part of your body. Similarly, if you are talking to a singer and you compliment their voice, their instrument, it tends to be a little more personal than if you compliment somebody's saxophone playing. Nothing against the saxophone, but it's not literally a part of you, right? If you say this kind of a compliment, there's nowhere for Susan to go to escape the feeling of good. And you want Susan to have to feel, any Susans in the room, by the way? Okay, cool. So sometimes I get like a Susan who feels really weird at this point, because I use that name later too. Now, I'm gonna take a quick aside here. I do this kind of work for a living. I'm at conferences and stuff all the time. I'm at work right now, okay? And when I do this, this is so depressing. Most of the time, I'm pretty sure most of the people come to a conference, come to a symposium, whatever, and they take a bunch of notes and see a bunch of great speakers and meet awesome people, and then they go home and they put the notes away on a shelf and they do everything the same way they've always done it. It's so sad. In fact, the research on I was talking to one of the music education professors at Oregon, University of Oregon, where I'm from, and he was just super depressed. He said, "Man, Tyson, the research says that no matter all the pedagogy classes we give them, these band directors that are going to be growing up in the future, we put them through these classes, we make them take ensemble credits, we show them as many programs as we can, and then go and get a high school job and they teach high school band the same way they took high school band from their high school band director." Exactly the same. It's so depressing. So, in order to avoid you coming here and having a good time and not getting anything out of it, I'm going to make you practice this today. I'm going to make you practice this here right now so that when you leave this room, you're ready to go. Just like we practice in band class. So, no, I haven't taught you how to receive a compliment yet. That's the next skill. So when you get a compliment, this is going to be super awkward for some of you. There is no response allowed. You are not allowed to say thank you. Now, I'm going to put up that smile compliment, and you're literally just going to read it to people. If you happen to have a compliment, like all my big contingent there, if there's somebody here you know, and you have a different compliment, you are welcome to use that instead of the one I'm going to put up. But you're going to stand up, and you're going to mill around and find 3 different people, preferably people you don't know. And, oops, nope, it was already there. You're going to give them this compliment about the smile, or some other compliment that you're ready to go. Please make sure that it's got these 4 parts, especially that last step. I want you to be ready to tell them how it makes you feel. How many compliments are you going to give? 3. And if you don't get a compliment just because of the randomness of the thing, please don't feel bad. We'll get you one a little bit later, okay? Any questions before I have you stand up and do this? Now comes the part where everybody goes, oh. Just join me a little bit. Play with me a little bit. Go ahead and stand up. Find 3 people. Give them a compliment each and then have a seat.
Right. Can I tell you something? I always appreciate seeing your smile because it reminds me to smile too, and that makes me feel better.
Hi, what's your name?
Deontay, can I tell you something? I appreciate seeing your smile because it reminds me to smile.
I always appreciate seeing you smile because it reminds me to smile too, and it makes me feel better.
All right. Now, I got to tell you, I've given this workshop or variations of it to literally thousands of people, and without fail, the noise level in the room goes up a little bit. I see a lot of smiles in the room, especially when you're complimenting the smiles. And hands up, check this out. Just check in with yourself right now. Hands up if you feel kind of good right now after having somebody tell you smile is cute, right? Okay, even after I told them to and they were reading it off the board, it still worked on a bunch of you. It probably didn't work on every one of you. In fact, some of you are probably kind of pissed right now because I made you go through that little exercise. And just thank you for playing my game in that case. I do appreciate that because I know it's not for everybody. But this just works. I want you to get used to the idea that most of your people are waiting to get some validation from you. Whether you're a titled leader or not, they want positive information from you. It's gonna make them feel good, okay? And I don't know what's going on in your life, and at a individual level, I don't know what's going on in everybody else's life, but I will tell you this, there are people in your band who do not get the kind of love and validation that I believe they deserve in their home life. They didn't grow up with the kind of love and validation that I believe they deserve. They could use this from you. And probably just by the numbers, I bet some of you fit that category. Some of you in this room right now do not get the kind of love and validation that, in my opinion, you deserve. Okay? So I want you to get used to this idea. And it doesn't always have to be a big 4-part compliment, but this will get it through the armor. Right? Okay. I'm going to move on to how to get a compliment. This is important too. Because if you want people to engage in a behavior, you must model that behavior. You must accept compliments. You can't be deflecting a compliment and then expect somebody to take yours in, right? So, let's do this. First of all, it's 3 steps. First of all, you open your listening. You got to let your armor down and go ahead and let the feelings come in. And that can feel dangerous sometimes. But you got to do it anyway. You see a compliment coming your way, let the defenses down and let it in. Step 2, say thank you. Most people are decent up to this point. Step 3 is where everybody screws it up. You ready? Step 3, drum roll please. Shut your mouth. Stop talking after that point, because this is when the false compliment's going to come out of your mouth, or your deflection's going to come out of your mouth, or whatever. All you got to do is say thank you and then feel good. Or feel good and then say thank you. By the way, I want to thank you very much for the actual drum roll. Not a lot of audiences actually do the drum roll. And because I know that if you do something here but you don't practice it here, you won't practice it in the real life, guess what I'm going to make you do? You're going to go do 3 more compliments, but instead, here's how it's going to work. You're not going to give 3 compliments. You are going to get 3 compliments. You are literally going to walk up to somebody and say, compliment my smile now. And then they're going to read that compliment off the board and compliment your smile. This is probably not one where you're going to get a different compliment than your smile, although if you happen to have one ready to go for somebody, and they ask you, I guess. Here it comes. There it is. So you're going to walk around and get 3 different compliments from 3 different human beings. Any questions, comments, concerns? Concerns, yes, I know. But I'm going to ask you to do it anyway. All right, go ahead and stand up and get those 3 compliments. I hope they feel good.
Hey Ryan, can I tell you something? I really enjoy looking at your mustache because it reminds me of that one day when they have the same style of beard.
Compliment my smile now.
What's your name?
Nate.
Nate? Okay. Nate, can I tell you something?
What? Tell me.
And not just your smile, your whole face is smiling, and your smiling face, even from back there, did make me feel good. It makes, from up there, it makes my job easier with this audience.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. You want to? Oh, good. Thank you so much.
I'm kind of sweaty because I walked a long way to get here.
It's okay. I said the sweaty thing on purpose earlier. I appreciate it.
Hey, Chelsea, can I say something? I always appreciate seeing you smile because it reminds me to smile to it, and it makes me feel better.
Time. This will probably be true for less of you, but is there anybody who, after making somebody read you a compliment off the board, still felt good about it? Okay, all right. Got one. Awesome. I love it. Now, I know it's awkward in this manufactured situation where we're doing this, but I love some of the stuff that I heard. I heard down here, they settled into their seats and she goes, compliment me again. My wife will do that sometimes. She'll be like, Tyson, I need a compliment now. I'm like, okay, yeah, you deserve one. Now, I know a lot of things about my wife, so it's easy to come up with a compliment for her. She doesn't need my reruns either. All right. Any questions about that little bit, other than it's just a little awkward? Any comments right now? Yeah.
Oh, this is. I raised my hand.
It was just an accident. You're just that kid in class, huh?
No, it's just that when you say thank you, I feel like it's really awkward after you just say thank you.
Okay.
look at him, you're making eye contact awkwardly, and you're like, what do I do now?
Let's call this a dramatization.
Okay, cool.
You don't actually have to stop the conversation. Okay. I just don't want the next thing to come, oh, thank you. Not really, I don't deserve the compliment, but I just want to avoid that other reaction that we generally have about that. So, great point. Thank you for raising that. Anything else? Okay, I'm gonna push on. So that's giving and receiving compliments. If you actually want to give somebody critical feedback, this is where you give them the negative stuff. This is probably what you think is going to be more useful in here. But remember, what's my ratio? 4 to 1. And by the way, or 5.6 to 1, somewhere in there. And by the way, this stuff comes from Florida State research. That's where I got it in my music. My whole music ed faculty when I was in school, almost all of them, came from Florida State. Charles Madsen wrote the book that I read in my class. Okay, so Dr. Madsen, that's right. Anyway, so for giving feedback to people, first of all, I want you to be aware the word "you" because stay with me, guys. Instead of addressing the person, as we were getting so personal in that positive stuff, I want you to address the behavior or the skill that you're trying to address. It's not about it's F sharp in measure 2, so you're a bad person. It's F sharp in measure 2. You don't have to get personal with this one because some people can handle it. There are people in this world, or your relationship with them might be such that it's no problem for you to give negative stuff. In fact, quick aside, I actually had at that retreat where I met my wife that I told you about. There was a staff member there who his name was Josh, and he was causing some drama on the team. And people were coming to me and saying, hey, Josh is doing this and that and the other thing. And when adults start telling on each other, you gotta do something about it. So I pulled Josh aside and I was like, look, you're doing this and this and this, and it's bugging those people. And he goes, oh, I didn't know. And I said, they tell me that they were trying to tell you. He goes, I didn't get it. And he kind of thought back and thought the conversations, they were, okay, now I didn't. Anyway, he literally asked me, Tyson, if that ever happens again, I want you to get in my face and wag your finger at me and swear at me. Because then it'll get through. So there are people out there who need that, and that's, now we come to the platinum rule, right? But as a default setting, this is much safer if you address the skill or the behavior and not that individual person. Okay? That's step 1 on getting feedback. Here's an actual concrete skill. I bet some of you have heard of a positive sandwich. Where are my positive sandwich people at? This is not any big secret thing of mine. There are people who think they're too cool for this, but it works. In fact, this is probably the single most powerful tool I have to give to a student leader. Probably the single best thing you can do because it makes sure you do a good job. First of all, you give someone a genuine positive comment about something. Hopefully, something related to the skill or behavior you're trying to change, but not necessarily. And then you sandwich the feedback in there. And once they change that behavior or improve that skill, then you give that third piece of genuine positive comment. Now, here's an example. Good job, whatever it is. Can you do it more like this? Demonstrate something. Wait until they change it, and then give them that compliment on top of that. Wait until they change it. That's a key. Now, this guarantees you at least a 2 to 1 ratio. It's not as good as 4 to 1, but it's much better than what most people are, which is 1 to 3, positive to negative. Most people give way more negative information, because what does a band director do? We're playing our piece. Oh, I heard a wrong note. I heard a problem. Cut it off. Address the problem. Keep going. Okay, so it's much easier to give that negative stuff because it's the habit we're in. But sad news for you. I'm going to make you practice this one too. Now, we're only going to do 1 or 2 of these for time, and we're going to come up with a positive sandwich. I bet that there are people in your band who don't habitually show up exactly on time. Anybody got people who come late to rehearsal in their bands? Okay, let's just go with that one for now. Let's say there's Johnny trumpet player is chronically late. He's always showing up late all the time. But Johnny trumpet player is a really good person, and he really wants to contribute. He's a good player and all that. But he's just showing up late all the time. Okay? So, as that first one, positive comment, Johnny, you really contribute to the band when you're here. We need you. You're an awesome bandmate. Compliment. Step 2, but when you're not here, you're not contributing to the band, and when you come in late, it disrupts rehearsal. Negative comment right there. Step 3, wait until Johnny shows up late, or shows up on time. And probably what's going to happen is Johnny's going to show up late again. That's probably what's going to happen. And then you go, bread meat again. You say, Johnny, you're a really, really awesome band member. We love having you around here, but when you show up late, it disrupts things. And probably he's going to show up late again. And you go, bread meat. red meat, red meat, red meat, until he accidentally shows up on time one day because his car breaks down and he has to get a ride from somebody who does show up on time, whatever it is. When you catch him doing it right, then you lay on that third step, that second piece of bread, and you say, oh man, it's so great having you here for warm-up, Johnny. Thank you so much for being here. And probably he's going to show up late again, because it takes more than one time. But through a series, this is called a series of successive approximations, I have seen video of a chicken that learned how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on a piano. Because they caught it accidentally going C, 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 bum, bum, bum. Accidentally, and they give a reward every time it happens right. And I saw a chicken play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on the piano. We're not any more special than a chicken, by the way. We are the same exact kind of thing. We have language and pattern recognition. That is it. But, so, Johnny, you're an awesome band member. We need you here on time. And then you're going to pretend like time went by. I want you to even just like turn around and place real quick to like reset the thing. And say, oh, thank you for coming on time today. I really appreciate it. You're going to do that 2 times with 2 different people. Any questions? It's going to feel weird. This is the last thing I'm going to make you do. That's not true. There's one more after this. There's one more after this. Sorry about that. Okay? Cool. Go ahead and stand up and give 2 positive sandwiches to Johnny Trumpet Player for showing up on time.
Johnny.
I gotta help out.
Johnny. You're really awesome.
You're a great trumpet player. I really enjoy having you around. You sound great. You're always doing what you're supposed to be doing. But if you were just here a little bit earlier, a little bit here on time, you could really contribute that much more to the entire rotation. So time to goodbye. You're here. I can't believe you're here. You're here. We can warm up together. You sound great. You're contributing. Love it. Let's do it together.
Okay, so I just took a look at the clock. And those of you who think this stuff is all super awkward got saved by the bell. I don't have time to make you do the next one, so I'll talk about it and I'll push on. I got 2 slides left. First of all, this one is interesting. It's like, it gets the same thing done as a positive sandwich, a little bit shorter. Somebody plays something and it's not great. And you say, I would love to hear that with all the right notes. I'd love to hear that with measure 2 having the correct rhythms. Check those rhythms out. When you say, I would love to, you're using a positive word, you're framing it positively, and for some people that will even go into the serotonin column, it'll even make them feel a little bit better, and you're assuming that they're going to get it better. Another example, this will be great once it has, and then you can, don't list 20 things there. That's going to be an issue, but you can get into some stuff. Yeah, you have a question?
Yeah, so like sometimes like it would be good to say that, but also some people take that as like sarcasm.
Check this out. You got one ahead of me.
Oh, okay.
Beware the dangers of sarcasm. If you feel sarcastic, you sound sarcastic. Okay. If you have a sarcastic sense of humor, this is probably not the one for you to use. I personally kind of trained the sarcasm out of my voice specifically so I could use this one. But you can stick with positive sandwiches or whatever because yes, it's a great point.
I guess the third one isn't as sarcastic, but like the first 2 might come off that way, but like the third one, I could see myself like saying that.
Okay, yeah, this will be great once we take care. And you know what this is? If I say great work, that's the first layer of bread in a positive sandwich. So that's kind of a hybrid of 2. Okay. But if you can frame it with positivity, that'll be great. By the way, I got this one out of a great book. It's super short, easy to read. It's called Love is the Killer App. It's by the former CFO of, I think, Yahoo. But anyway, a great book. It'll take you an afternoon to read it. Love is the Killer App. The last one, this is the hardest one to practice, and you're not going to have to do it. I was going to make you complete this sentence. Over and over and over again. Because earlier, I mentioned that there are people in your band who do not get the positive feedback that, in my opinion, they deserve in their life. I know a lot of people go through a lot of stuff before they get to college. And a lot of people go through a lot of stuff while they're in college. And again, I bet there's people in this room who don't get what they deserve, who feel like they don't get noticed on a regular basis. And again, the primary reason for this is not to make people feel good. It's to make them feel like they got a home in band. It's to make them want to do better. It's to give them a feeling of success. Some of you probably heard this quote. I'm going to read to you by a woman named Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Actually, who are you not to be? Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people will not feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Now, what I normally do here, and I just don't have time, I'll run up on the clock, but what I normally do here is I stand in front of the room and list some things I like about myself. I don't have a script for that, just I like close my eyes and think about it, and then I ask you to find a person you're comfortable with and sit and talk with them. I'm going to give you a homework assignment. Sometime tonight or tomorrow, I really do want you to sit down with somebody you're comfortable with and just go back and forth. One thing I like about myself is you might like your musical ability. You might like your marching ability. You might like your ability to connect with people. You might like the kinds of friends you have and the people who like you. List some things off like that because it's not about bragging. It's not egotistical. It's about having an accurate and authentic assessment of who you are and what you bring to the table. And if you are able to stand in that without feeling weird about it and without coming off as a braggart, then you have incredible power in your band and elsewhere in your life. So there's your homework assignment. I really do want you to take a second and give yourself some authentic self-appreciation. It works in the mirror, but it works better. It's a little more, the stakes are higher when there's a human being looking back at you and trading back and forth. So there's your homework assignment. Here's your takeaways, and I'll wrap it up with this. Remember the compliments? First of all, they're free. You got as many as you want, and they're worthless until you give them away. They become valuable when you give them away. In fact, I did this thing at a conference in Chicago one time, and this guy, I got to this point, and this guy stood up in the back and goes, "Tyson, I have to say this!" I was like, "Dude, what?" He goes, "My mom taught me this when I was a kid. The love in your heart wasn't put there to stay. Love isn't love till you give it away." It's true. It's totally true. I really do want you to give those compliments away. Next, when you are complimenting somebody, I want you to make it about them, about that person. Make them feel good about that trait. But when you're going to feedback, go toward the skill or the behavior. It's not about the person, it's the skill or the behavior. It's not a bad dog pooping on the carpet's back. Right? Positive sandwich may sound silly to you, but it is such a powerful tool, and it's such an easy, paint by numbers way to get yourself to a 2-to-1 ratio there. And and love is more powerful than hate, that substitute love piece. You can really frame everything with love and still get that information across and make it positive. And lastly, please remind yourself how super you are on occasion, because you are. You are unique. You bring things to the table that nobody else can, and you should know that about yourself. And sometimes, I know I'm this way, sometimes I have to remind myself about it too when I'm having a rough day. Okay? Cool. If you only get one thing from this, most people respond positively to positivity. That's an easy way to remember things. And if you can go back and make somebody's day better in your band program, that will give you just a little bit more power in their world, a little bit more influence in your band and the people around you. All right? I wish I had a little more time with you guys, but I really do want to thank you for playing my game today. Cool. Thank you.